guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy is both a husband and father. I believe he says he has a couple sons. And he's writing in to share the story and ask for my advice as well as you guys about a situation with his youngest son. You see, his son is a genius, absolutely gifted, and is one of these kids that's so smart that he was taking college courses while he was in high school, one of those deals, and is actually graduating college while he's in high school. And that does happen. Before anybody says that's BS, it never happens. Anyhow, because he's so darn smart, he's going off to medical school. And again, I've researched, and you can go to medical school super young if you obviously have the abilities and credentials, which he does. In fact, I looked it up, the record is a 13-year-old girl going off to medical school. So it can happen. Anyhow, in spite of all these great accomplishments his son, like any young man, obviously has a weakness for the ladies, if you want to call them that. And he's made his mistakes with girlfriends and all that, and really came darn close to probably tanking his great future over some girl. So Dad is writing in here, sharing the story, and also looking for advice to help with his son and all that. And so I'll be going to go over here, guys, as a reminder how it's so important to the fathers out there. The fathers, the uncles, the grandfathers, older brothers. If you got a son or grandson or nephew, whatever, you got to share your wisdom you've learned through your own personal experience, as well as things you've learned from others around here, to help these young guys not make these dumb mistakes, ruin their future over getting some. You know, these young guys need to be aware of essentially the R-pill knowledge, if you will, how things really roll. Because if not, they could really ruin their lives. Because the choices you make and the actions you do between probably ages 15 and 25 is going to set the course of your life. So anyhow, that'll be going to go over here, guys. And again, you can all chime in later on. And it goes to show you, as genius as some of these young people can be, still they're going to do things that, well, young people do. He says, "Hello, SSM. First, a little backstory here about my wife and I. We're just your average middle-class folks. I won't tell you my wife's occupation. It's a little too specific and easy to identify her, but I'm a technician in a local factory, and my background is that of a machinist. We both make decent money for the area that we live in. So this is not about me, SSM, but rather my youngest and my two sons. At a young age, my youngest son, I'll call him Nigel, exceeded all his schoolwork, and to make a long story short, wound up graduating college before he graduated high school. Like right before. Okay, he's Sheldon Cooper. He's one of these geniuses that, I guess for whatever reason, he can't just skip high school, but is doing them both. Fine. He graduated top 10 in his class of almost 280, as in college. If he stays the course, he'll be a doctor by the ripe old age of 24 years old. He was also never a nerd. He has friends in high school, as well as he does in college now, and he was not a jock, but has several that were his friends. Okay, cool. He's a very humble young man, and the truth is he's more popular than he gives himself credit for. A lot of adults mention what a nice person he is and how humble for all his accomplishments. Well, that's great. If he's this smart and this capable and has a bright future, he's not a little arrogant little a-hole, that's great. Toward the ending of his sophomore year in high school, he picked up his third girlfriend. This time things were a little different, as she seemed much more involved in his daily life, and he seemed much more attached to her than the other relationships that he had previously, which were age-appropriate and nothing too serious. Age-appropriate. So his sophomore year, so I guess he's 16, whatever, new girlfriend. Except this girl, he said, is not age-appropriate, so she's older. Obviously, he met her at college, because he's doing both. However he had time for that, he's doing both. Anyhow, I'm guessing he's so attached to her because guess what? He probably lost his virginity to her. Think about it. This young lady, we'll call her Vicky, likes to have him all to herself. She resents his friends and would get on him for hanging out with them. By the time they were seniors, he had friends at several different schools and locations, as in technically seniors in college, so she's way older than him. As he was now attending a school for gifted students, that was a mix of people from at least half of our state, and they all wanted to keep in touch and hang out. I did not know all this going on until at graduation. We had him a little get-together for his friends from the gifted school. So again, he's taking the college courses and graduated there, but also the high school, the gifted high school, however the fuck that works out. And yes, it can happen, guys. It's just, it's not very common. He, of course, wanted his girlfriend to be there, and evidently she just could not stand the fact that he was having a get-together with his friends, and she was expected to be there. She showed up late, looking like she had been cleaning house all day, and when he got there, was mad at him and had an attitude. She's showing up at your house, having an attitude. I'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. Now, of course, Dad has to watch what he does, because then that can make this easily manipulated son here, go for the forbidden love scenario here. But regardless, no parent should tolerate disrespect in their house. We found them talking to each other separate from his group of friends. His mother and I looked at him and said, listen, you have a guest, you need to be with them. That broke up the conversation and sent him back to where he was supposed to be. Well, good job, Mom and Dad. She's a narcissist. She's trying to, keep him away from his friends. I'm sure eventually you guys, all to herself. That's how narcissists operate. This is when my opinion of this young lady really soured, but now they were on the cusp of going off to college. Or in other words, he was going off to medical school. Different schools about an hour and a half apart. In the weeks before he left for college, I questioned him and we talked about his relationship. I found that she had ignored him several times, aka treating him like crap, and said they had worked it out. Upon learning this, I looked him straight in the eye and said, boy, don't you ever let a girl treat you that way again. Ever. He looked at me and said, I know, and said, you just have to trust me, Dad. Well, again, he, as genius as he is, he's falling for the same crap that young people do. But guess what? You got to share this info with these young guys, and then they also have to learn some things on their own. So fast forward to the very beginning of the summer, his first day back home from his summer break before his last year. Remember, he already has a degree, so he only spends 2 years to get his bachelor's. Okay? It is confusing with all the school and back and forth here. I'm sure some guys are going to be very confused here. I think some guys may say this is bullshit SSM. I believe him. I think he's just not wording the scheduling of the school and the classes and this, graduating this, 2 years this. Nevertheless, his son's a genius and he's taking college courses, and the point is this girl's trouble. For the story's sake, let me take you through his last day of school. He got up in the morning at 6, finished packing, went and took his final exam, and was done by about 1 p.m., then went and ate lunch, and he had finished packing and drove 4.5 hours home. Obviously, that's from the college. When he got home, he unloaded his car, and it was about 8 p.m. at night, and he was exhausted. Vicky, who had arrived in her home about a week earlier, had started her summertime job, and she had started to stop by to see him. So she pulled into the driveway about 8:15. He walked up to her and said, I'm seriously tired right now. Then he asked her the worst thing he could have asked her, how come you are so tired? Upon hearing this, she rolled her eyes and started her car back up and said, are you effing serious right now? And was threatening to leave without speaking to him. Drama, drama, drama. This is the shit your son does not need. But this is why you need to teach young guys that women will deliberately create drama because some of them love it. Or they want to play mind games, or they want to isolate you, and all these different tactics they pull. Guarantee you this is the first girl your son slept with. That's why she has this pull on him. She explained to him that this was her first day of her job, and she was so tired. A fact that he somehow did not remember during his busy day. And boy, did she make him pay for it. Smack to your son. I should have smacked him earlier. Make him pay for it. Send her packing. Get out of here. This young guy has a whole bright future ahead. I'm sure he can get plenty of girls, and he's listening to this crap. But this is the type of pull a girl can have on a guy, typically if she's his first love or first something. Drama queen, drama queen, drama queen. This is why you warn the young guys, gentlemen, your sons, your grandsons, your nephews. He told me it took him almost 2.5 hours to get things smoothed over and back to normal where she wasn't mad. Smack to your son. 2.5 hours he wasted with this dumb broad and her drama. If he would have said, you know what, I'm done with you. Take your shit and get out of here. I bet you would have been singing a different tune. I bet you instead of bitching at him, she'd be crying and trying to get him to change his mind. But right now, she has all the power and she knows it. Well, unbeknownst to her and to me, he'd been stacking straws for quite some time, and this was the final straw. As I would soon learn that this had been a pattern of behavior, especially for the last 3 or 4 months of school, which included her wanting to come to the city he was going to college in and move in with him, which he told her no. Anyway, my boy was done with her. The next day, he went to her house, ended things with her. Well, good job for him. Now he's showing his smarts. All this time he wasted with her drama. Now listen to how she reacts. Of course, there were the waterworks and apologies and all, but it made no difference as he was done. Well, how interesting. The night before, she was bitching up a storm, 2.5 hours, you couldn't get her to calm down. But he breaks up with her, and all of a sudden the waterworks and apologies and all that. This is what happens when the guy realizes he has the leverage. Men hold the key to relationships. But this is also what happens when a gal lets a guy become pee-whipped. But what really set things off was about 5 days later, he went on a multi-state road trip with a young lady he was friends with. We will call her Amber. That's when the crap really hit the fan, as you can imagine. I've seen and read about worse on social media, as I'm sure you have. Now, there's a version put out there that made its rounds through his network of friends about how bad he had done her and he'd been cheating with this girl, which was not true. Well, of course they're going to gossip. They're all young. That's what they do. You know? Truth is, it's none of their fucking business. He was honest with her that he'd been invited on the trip and hadn't planned on going until she showed her butt for the final time when he arrived home. In other words, his now ex-girlfriend. His friends have asked him about the breakup. He explains it to them, and they shake their heads and smile. Gave him a hug and said they knew there was more to it than the one side they were hearing, so he's okay there. Whether they were okay with it or not, it's not their fucking business. I was young once, and I got caught up in the drama back then too, you know. He was sad about the bad feelings the breakup had caused, but said he knew it was time to end it with this young lady. Young lady, more like young harpy. This led to me having a couple of long drives and several good long talks about relationships and mistakes and what to look out for moving forward. Good, Dad. That's what you should be doing. Your son here needs this. Imagine he stayed with that a-hole girl and jeopardized. What if he had said, I'm not going to go to medical school because I want to marry that one girl, that one bitchy girlfriend or something like that. Seriously. This is why young guys need guidance. A lot of guys, yeah, we're going to learn some things the hard way, but it helps having some guidance. I could kick my own ass not making him a little more R-pilled and letting him know not to put up with this crap. What's done is done, Dad. Now you're doing it. He needs to be more ready and understand how women look at things and value things in a relationship differently. I've been saying that since day one. This summer, he had a very pretty blonde basically just put herself out there for him. He would not tell me what she said, but she left no doubt. It's always been very interesting to watch my wife and my older sister, his aunt, and their reaction to all this. Her sister says his ex is just mad because she lost her meal ticket and wanted to marry herself a doctor. The wife is not saying much, except she's glad it's over with, and she didn't like her anyway. Well, the sister takes one to know one, huh? But that's exactly it. That girl was looking for a meal ticket from your son. So now here we are. He's starting the next year of school, a single man. The girl he went on a multi-state road trip with, Amber, wants him to come over to her city, about 5 hours away, whenever he can. No. Why would your son, who again is moving forward in his career, drive 5 hours to see her when he has girls throwing themselves at him? That's stupid. She can come to him. I told him he doesn't need to follow a girl anywhere. She needs to follow him. And he best be careful not worry about women and relationships until he gets out of school, or even later. What's the rush? Obviously, medical school and all that. And after medical school, then there's all the other things he has to deal with. The flip side is that all the pull these ladies have with their blonde and brunette hair when dealing with a 19-year-old guy that's headed to medical school. So maybe the SSM community can give some ideas or encouragement, because it's a lot easier to learn now and save some heartache. Thanks for all you do, SSM, and God bless. And if by some chance this makes it a video, please let me know so we will not miss it. Well, anyhow, it is a little confusing about the parts with the high school and the college and back and forth and all that, but the point I get about this whole thing is your son's super smart, obviously a genius, was doing the college classes while in high school, and he's got a little bit more left, and he's on a medical school at a super early age. Okay, fine. It happens. Yeah, your son, he got lucky, because if he was more pee-whipped, that Vicky girl, the first girlfriend who was a disrespectful a-hole and older than him, could have derailed the whole medical school thing. What if she got pregnant? Think about that one. Bye-bye medical school, or at least most of the time, or any of these other girls got pregnant. This is why, guys, and I'm saying this to the dude writing this in, you have to advise your sons early on about these things. They need to know about the crap that women will pull. They need to understand that it's not sweet sugar and spice and everything nice. Not all gals are the devil incarnate, but a lot are or capable of it when they see something they really want. Yeah, it happens. And it's a biggest shame when you have a young guy with such a promising future, and all it takes is one girl that gets her claws in him, and either by taking his virginity or something, or the first girl to tell him that she loves him, and that just sets them on a different path, screws up everything. So all you guys out there, you fathers, you uncles, you grandpas, older brothers, you have a duty. Yes, and I said a duty to advise the young guys in your life about these things. Reality. Turn to my channel. Turn to other channels. Teach them about reality. Because while we got to learn, oftentimes got to learn things the hard way, sometimes the hard way is a permanent hard way here. So I'm glad your son obviously has options, but so I would be doing some serious talking to with your boy about these things, making it clear, son, what you do now is going to determine the rest of your life. You got lucky with those girls, okay? Tell your son if he's going to be hooking up with girls, he doesn't ever buy the I'm on the pill crap. He always wears protection, provides his own protection, disposes protection. And how, frankly, he got to put up all relationships for a long time until he's out of medical school. And even then, in medical school, I think it's on to, I don't know how it goes, even though I'm a son of a doctor, because my dad was in medical school a long freaking time ago. He rest in peace. But I think medical school, and maybe residency and all those things, I'm not sure how it works, but there's a lot more about after medical school. So he can take his time. He doesn't need relationships. And I'm sure, I get he's young, and he's a young, horny dude, and he wants to get some ass, but you need to make him clear the big picture. You need to make him clear reality, how gals can behave. And make him listen to you. Don't let him take advice from his mama or his aunt. Obviously, your wife didn't like the girl he's with, but a lot of times, as we are aware, you want to get advice from a man, an experienced man about things, but the right man, not a clueless, boneheaded man, because the wrong man can be just as damaging advice as a woman. So, guys, even though this video here is a little confusing about the whole jumping around between college and high school and all that shit, the point is, young men need a mentor, a guide to help them. Otherwise, they could ruin the whole thing. So, sir, keep talking to your son about these things, whether he wants to hear it or not, and support him, be there for him, all that. But don't let him, he's an adult now. He's a man. And talk to him man to man. And if you got to give him a smack upside the head, tell him it's from SSM to knock some sense into him. Because as all you guys are well aware, how many times do we let the other head do the thinking and can screw everything up? I'm sure there's guys watching things right now that said, my God, I wish I had this advice when I was younger. I wouldn't have done all the dumbass shit I did. I wish I had my advice when I was younger. I had to make all the mistakes and learn the fucking hard way. I had my dad bestow some wisdom onto me, and some of it I took, but a lot of it went one ear out the other because I was young and thought I knew better. Guess what? I didn't. So, bro, good luck to you. Good luck to your son. I wish he has a great, promising future. Don't let him fuck it up because of some girls, but hopefully he's learned a lesson from his first major relationship. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.